वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 5, chapter 19, a description of the island of Jambudvipa. Anyone can remember which verse we need to continue from? Or did we finish 19? Okay. Let's go ahead with chapter 20. I think I have checked it. We did finish chapter 19. Okay. Do let me know if you see the screen. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. श्रीशुक उवाच अतः परं लक्षादीनं प्रमाणलक्षणसंस्थानतो वर्षविभाग उपवर्ण्यते. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami said, hereafter I shall describe the dimensions, characteristics, and forms of the 6 islands, beginning with the island of Plaksha. जम्बूद्वीपेयों यावत् प्रमाण विस्तारस्तावत् तावत् क्षारोदधीना परिविष्टितो यथा मेरु जम्बु आख्येन लवणोदधिरपि ततोद्विगुण विशालेन प्लक्षाख्येन परिक्षिप्तो यथा परिखा बाह्यपवनेन लक्षो जम्बू प्रमाण द्वीपाख्याकरो हिरण्मया उत्थितो यत्राग्निर उपास्ते सप्तजिह्वस्तस्याधिपतिः प्रियव्रतात्मज इद्मजिह्वा स्वं द्वीपं सप्तवर्षाणि विभज्य सप्तवर्षनामभ्य आत्मजेभ्य आकलय्य स्वयं आत्मा योगेनोपराम. As Sumeru mountain is surrounded by Jambudvipa, Jambudvipa is also surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The breadth of Jambudvipa is 100,000 yojanas, which is 800,000 miles. And the breadth of the saltwater ocean is the same. As a moat around a fort is sometimes surrounded by a garden-like forest, the salt ocean surrounded by Jambudvipa is also surrounded by Plakshadvipa. The breadth of Plakshadvipa is twice that of the salt ocean. In other words, 200,000 yojanas, 1600,000 miles. On Plakshadvipa, there is a tree shining like gold and as tall as the Jambu tree on Jambudvipa. At its root is a fire with 7 flames. It is because this tree is a Plaksha tree that the island is called Plakshadvipa. Plakshadvipa was governed by Idyajihva, one of the sons of Maharaja Priyavrata. He endowed the 7 islands with the names of his 7 sons, divided the islands among the sons, and then retired from active life to engage in devotional service of the Lord. Shivam Yavasham Subhadram Shantam Kshemam Amrita Abhyam अभयम् इति वर्षाणां तेषु गिरयो नद्यश्च सप्तैर्वाभिज्ञाताः मणिकूटो वज्रकूटो इन्द्रसेनो ज्योतिष्मान् सुपर्णो हिरण्यष्ठीवो मेघमाला इति सेतु शैलाः अरुणा नृणाङ्गिरसि सावित्री सुप्तभाता ऋतंभरा सत्यंभरा इति महानद्यः यासां जलोपस्पर्शेण विभूतरजस्तमसो हंसा पतङ्गोर्ध्वायन सत्याङ्गा संयाश्चत्वारो वर्णाः सहस्रायुषो विबुधोपमा सन्दर्शन प्रजननाः स्वर्गद्वारं त्रय्या विद्यया भगवन्तं त्रयीमयं सूर्यम् आत्मनं यजन्ते. The seven islands Varshas are named according to the names of those seven sons: Shiva, Yavasha, Subhadra, Shanta, Kshema, Amrita, and Abhaya. In those seven tracts of land, there are seven mountains and seven rivers. The mountains are named Manikuta, Vajrakuta, Indrasena, Jyotishman, Suparna, Hiranyashvita, and Meghamala. And the rivers are named Aruna, Drimana, Agnirasi, Savitri, Suptabhata, Ritambhara, and Satyambhara. One can immediately be free from material contamination by touching or bathing in those rivers, and the four castes of people who live in Plakshadvipa, the Hamsas, Patangas, Urdhvayanas, and Satyangas, purify themselves in that way. Mhm. The inhabitants of Plakshadvipa live for 1000 years. They are beautiful like the demigods, and they also beget children like the demigods. By completely performing the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas and by the worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead as represented by the sun god, they attain the sun, which is a heavenly planet. प्रत्नस्य विष्णोरूपं यत् सत्यश्रतस्य ब्रह्मणः अमृतस्य च मृत्योश्च सूर्यम् आत्मानम् ईमहीति. This is the mantra by which the inhabitants of Plakshadvipa worship the Supreme Lord. Let us take shelter of the Sun God, who is a reflection of Lord Vishnu, the all expanding Supreme Personality of Godhead, the oldest of all persons. Vishnu is the only worshipable Lord. He is the he is the Vedas, he is religion, and he is the origin of all auspicious and inauspicious results. प्लक्षादिषु पञ्चषु पुरुषाणाम् आयुरिन्द्रियम् ओजः सहो बलं बुद्धिर्विक्रम इति च सर्वेषाम् औत्पत्तिकी सिद्धिर् इव शेषेण वर्तते. O King, longevity, sensory prowess, physical and mental strength, intelligence, and bravery are naturally and equally manifested in all the inhabitants of the five islands headed by Plakshadvipa. Plakshasva samanenekshu रसोदेना वृतो यथा तथा द्वीपोऽपि साल्मलो द्विगुण विशाला समानेन सुरोदेनावृतः परिवृन्ते. Lakshadweep is surrounded by an ocean of sugarcane juice equal in breadth to the island itself. Similarly, there is then another island, Salmali Dweepa, twice as broad as Lakshadweep, 400,000 yojanas or 3,200,000 yojanas, and surrounded by an equally broad body of water called Surasagara, the ocean that tastes like liquor. Yatra havai salmali plakshayama yasyam vava kila nilayam ahur bhagavatas chandas stuta patatri rajasya sadvipa utaye upalakshyate. On Salmali Dvipa, there is a Salmali tree from which the island takes its name. That tree is as broad and tall as the Plaksha tree, in other words, 100 yojanas, 800 miles broad, and 1,100 yojanas, 8,800 miles tall. Learned scholars say that this gigantic tree is the residence of Garuda, the king of all birds and carrier of Lord Vishnu. In that tree, Garuda offers Lord Vishnu his Vedic prayers. Tad Dipatihi Praya Priyavrataatmajo Yajna Bahuhu Swasutebhya Saptabhyastannamani Saptavarshani Vyabhajat Surochanam Somanasyam Ramanakam Deva Varsham Paribhadram Apyayanam Abhignatam Iti. The son of Maharaja Priyavrata named Yajnabahu, the master of Salmali Dvipa, divided the island into 7 tracts of land, which he gave to his 7 sons. The names of those divisions which correspond to the names of the sons are Surochana, Saumanasya, Ramanaka, Devavarsha, Paribhadra, Apyayana, Avijñata. तेषु वर्षाद्रयो नद्यश्च सप्तैवाभिज्ञातः स्वरससप्तशृङ्गो वामदेव कुन्दो मुकुन्दः पुष्पवर्षसहस्र श्रुतिरिति अनुमतिः सिनीवाली सरस्वती कुहू रजनी नन्दा राकेति. In those tracts of land, there are 7 mountains: Swarasa, Shatashringa, Vamadeva, Kunda, Mukunda, Pushpavarsha, and Sahasrashruti. There are also 7 rivers: Anumati, Sinivali, Saraswati, Kuhu, Rajani, Nanda, and Raka. They are still existing. तद्वर्ष पुरुषा श्रुतधर वीर्यधर वसुंधरे संदर सम्या भगवन्तं वेदमयं सोमम् आत्मानं वेदेन यजन्ते. Strictly following the cult of the Varnashrama Dharma, the inhabitants of those islands, who are known as Shrutidharas, Viryadharas, Vasundharas, and Ishandharas, all worship the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead named Soma, the moon god. Swagobi Pitra Devebhyo Vibhajan Krishna Suklayo Prajanam Sarva Samraja Nadha Somo Na Astva Iti. The inhabitants of Shalmali Dvipa worship the demigod of moon in the following words. By his own race, the moon god has divided the month into 2 fortnights, known as Shukla and Krishna, for the distribution of food grains to the Pitas and the demigods. The demigod of moon is he who divides time, and he is the king of all residents of the universe. We therefore pray that he may remain our king and guide, and we offer him our respectful obeisances. एवं सुरोदात् बहिस्तद्विगुणः समानेन वृतो वृतोदेन यथा पूर्व कुशद्वीप यस्मिन् कुशस्तम्भो देवकृतस्तद् द्वीपाख्याकरो ज्वलन इवापरः रोचिषा दिशो विराजयति. Outside the ocean of liquor is another island known as Kushadvipa, which is 800 yojanas, 6,400,000 miles wide and twice as wide as the ocean of liquor. As Salmali Dvipa is surrounded by a liquor ocean, Kushadvipa is surrounded by an ocean of liquid ghee as broad as the island itself. On Kushadvipa, there is a clump of Kusha grass from which the island takes its name. This Kusha grass, which was created by the demigods by the will of the Supreme Lord, appears like a second form of fire, but with very mild and pleasing flames. Its young shoots illuminate all directions. Tadvipapati प्रयव्रतो राजन् हिरण्यरेता नाम स्वं द्वीप सप्तभ्यो स्वपुत्रेभ्यो यथा भागं विभज्य स्वयं तप आतिष्ठत वसुदान दृग्धरुचि नाभिगुप्त स्तुत्यावृत विविक्तवामदेवा नामभ्यः. O king, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata, Hiranyareta, was the king of this island. He divided it into 7 parts, which he delivered to his 7 sons according to the rights of inheritance. The king then retired from the family life to engage in austerity. The names of those sons are Vasudana, Dhridaruchi, Stutya Vrata, Nabhigupta, Vivikta, and Vamadeva. तेषां वर्षेषु सीमा गिरयो नद्यश्चाभिज्ञाताः सप्त सप्तैव चतुःशृङ्गो कपिलश्चित्रकूटो देवानीक ऊर्ध्वरोमा द्रविण इति रसकुल्य मधुकुल्य मित्रविन्दा श्रुतविन्दा देवगर्भा घृतच्युता Maleti. In those 7 islands, there are 7 boundary mountains known as Chakra, Chatushranga, Kapila, Chitrakuta, Devanika, Urdhva Roma, and Dravina. There are also 7 rivers known as Ramyakulya, Madhukulya, Mitravinda, Shrutavinda, Devagarbha, Grita Chuta, and Mantramala. Yasam पयोभिः कुशद्वीपौकस कुशल कोविदाभियुक्त कुलक सम्या भगवन्तं जातवेदा सारूपिणं कर्म कौशलेन यजन्ते. The inhabitants of the island of Kushadvipa are celebrated as Kushala, Kovida, Abhiyukta, and Kulukas. They are like the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras respectively. By bathing in the waters of those rivers, they all become purified. They are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies according to the orders of the Vedic scriptures. Thus, they worship the Lord in his aspect as the demigod of fire. परस्य ब्रह्मणा साक्षात् जातवेदोऽसि हव्यवात् देवानां पुरुषाङ्गानां यज्ञेन पुरुषं यजेति. This is the mantra by which the inhabitants of Kusha Dvipa worship the fire god. O fire god, you are a part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, and you carry to him all the offerings of sacrifices. Therefore, we request you to offer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead the yagnic ingredients we are offering the demigods for the Lord is real enjoyer. Tata Grito Dhat Bahi क्रौञ्च द्वीपो द्विगुण स्वमानेन क्षीरोदेन परिता उपक्लप्तो वृतो यथा कुशद्वीपो घृतोदेन यस्मिन् क्रौञ्चो नाम पर्वतराजो द्वीपनाम निर्वर्तक आस्ते. Outside the ocean of clarified butter is another island known as Krauncha Dvipa, which has a width of 1,600,000 yojanas, which is 12,800,000 miles, twice the width of the ocean of clarified butter. As Kushadvipa is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter, Krauncha Dvipa is surrounded by an ocean of milk as broad as the island itself. On Krauncha Dvipa, there is a great mountain known as Krauncha, from which the island takes its name. Yoso Guha Praharanonmat matita nitamba kunjopi shirodena sishyamano bhagavata varunena bhi gupto vibhayo babuva. Although the vegetables living on the slopes of Mount Krauncha were attacked and devastated by the weapons of Kartikeya, the mountain has become fearless because it is always bathed on all sides by the ocean of milk and protected by Varuna Deva. तस्मिन्नपि प्रियव्रतो घृतो घृतपृष्ठो नामाधिपति स्वे द्वीपे वर्षाणि सप्त विभज्य तेषु पुत्रनामषु सप्त रिक्था रिक्थादान् वर्षपान् निवेश्य स्वयं भगवान् भगवतः परमं कल्याण यशस आत्मा भूतस्य हरेश्चरणारविन्द Upajagama. The ruler of this island was another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. His name was Gritaprishta, and he was a very learned scholar. He divided his own island among his 7 sons. After dividing the island into 7 parts, named according to the names of his sons, Gritaprishta Maharaj completely retired from family life and took shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, the soul of all the souls, who has all auspicious qualities. Thus he attained perfection. आमो मधुरुहो मेघपृष्ठ सुधामा भ्राजि भ्राजिष्ठो लोहितार्णो वनस्पतिरिति गृहपृष्ठ सुतो सुतास् तेषां वर्षगिरयः सप्त सप्तैव नद्य चाभिख्याता शुक्लो वर्धमानो भोजन उपर् उपबर्हिणो नन्दो नन्दनः सर्वतो भद्र इति अभया अमृतौगा आर्यका तीर्थवती रूपवती पवित्रवती शुक्लेति. The sons of Maharaj Gritaprishta were named Ama, Madhuruha, Meghaprishta, Sudhama, Brajishta, Lohitarna, and Vanaspati. In their islands, there are 7 mountains which indicate the boundaries of 7 tracts of land, and there are also 7 rivers. The mountains are named Shukla, Vardhamana, Bhojana, Upa, Barhina, Nanda, Nandana, and Sarvatobhadra. The rivers are named Abhaya, Amritaugha, Aryaka, Tirthavati, Rupavati, Pavitravati, and Shukla. Yasham Abhaya, Yasham Amba, Pavitram, Amalam, Upayunjana, Purusharshabha, Dravina, Devaka, Samya, Varsha, Purusha, Apo, Mayam, Devam, Apam, Purne, Nanjalina, Yajanti. The inhabitants of Krauncha Dvipa are divided into 4 castes called the Purushas, Rishabhas, and Dravinas and Devakas. Using the waters of those sanctified rivers, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, offering a palm full of water at the lotus feet of Varuna, the demigod who has a form of water. आपः पुरुषवीर्यस्त पुनन्तिर्भूर्भवः सुहा ता न पुनीतां वी sorry आपः पुरुषवीर्य one second आपः पुरुषवीर्यास्त पुनन्तिर्भूर्भुवः सुवः ता न पुनीतामिवग्निः स्पृशताम् आत्मना भुवः इति. The inhabitants of Krauncha Dvipa worship with this mantra. O water of the rivers, you have obtained energy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you purify the 3 planetary systems known as Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, and Svarloka. By your constitutional nature, you take away sins, and that is why we are touching you. Kindly continue to purify us. Hare Krishna. We stop here and very quickly go through the points that are here. Anyway, there's so much in terms of geographical understanding, where we are actually living, how tiny we are. Of course, when we want to travel from one end to the other end, we still take a hell lot of time. But we can see that there is in this Jambu Dvipa how the different islands are surrounded, who is ruling, and etc. And especially the third, fourth verses, the purport Prabhupada is referring. According to general understanding, there are originally three deities: Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. And people with a poor fund of knowledge consider Lord Vishnu no better than Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. This conclusion, however, is invalid. Ishtapurtam bahuda jayamanam vishwam bibharti bhuvanasya nabis tad evagnis tad vayus tad suryas tad cha chandramana agni sarva devataha. This means that the Supreme Lord, who accepts and enjoys the results of Vedic ceremonies, who maintains the entire creation, who supplies the necessities of living entities, and who is the central point of all creation, is Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu expands as the demigods known as Agni, Vayu, Surya, Chandra, who are simply part and parcel of his body. Lord Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, "Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita te api mam eva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam." Sorry, in Bhagavad Gita. So, and here we can see in different places who is worshipping whom, in what kind of prayers they are making. And yeah, Pratsnasya Vishnu Rupam Yat. So the inhabitants of Lakshadvipa, they are offering prayers. They're offering prayers to Sun God. Of course, they are reflecting in the purport. Prabhupada mentions Lord Vishnu is even the Supreme Lord of Death. Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham. There are two kinds of activity, auspicious and inauspicious, and both are controlled by Lord Vishnu. Inauspicious activities are said to be behind Lord Vishnu, whereas auspicious activities stand before him. Anyway, this is the Virat Roop. And Sri Madhvacharya says, Surya Samagni Varshi Sa Vidhyas, Vidhashrut Yatha Kramam Plakshadi Dvipa Samsthashu Sthitam Harim Upasate. It is mentioned there are many islands, fields, mountains, and oceans throughout the creation, and everywhere the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by his different names. And in this regard, Sri Viraraghava Acharya explains this particular verse as follows: the original cause of cosmic manifestation must be the oldest person and must therefore be beyond material transformations. He is the enjoyer of all auspicious activities and is the cause of conditional life and its liberation. Demigod Surya, when we talk about the demigod Surya, who is categorized as very powerful Jiva or living entity, is a representation of one of the parts of his body. Uh, we are naturally subordinate to the powerful living entity, and therefore we can worship various demigods as living entities who are powerful representative of the Lord. So here, when one is worshipping Lord Shiva, Lord Surya Dev, here it's mentioned that although the worship of Sun God is recommended in this mantra, he is worshipped not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as but as his powerful representative. So this is what we should understand. Yeah, sometimes we may see Surya Narayan means, oh, he's also Narayan. Yeah, but we should understand that the difference is, although the worship of Sun God is recommended in this mantra, he is worshipped not as a Supreme Lord, but as his powerful representative. Uh, in fact, in the Katha Upanishad, it is said, Ritam pibantau sukritasya loke guham pravishthau parame parardhe chaya tapo brahma vido vadanti panchagnayo ye cha tri cha nachiketa. So it is said, O Nachiketa, the expansions of Lord Vishnu as the tiny living entity and the super soul are both situated within the cave of the heart of this body. Having entered that cavity, the living entity resting on the chief of the life airs enjoys the results of activity, and the super soul acting as a witness enables him to enjoy them. Those who are well versed in the knowledge of Brahman and those householders who are carefully following the Vedic regulations say that the difference between the two is like the difference between a shadow and the sun. Huh? And in the Shvetoswara Upanishad, it is mentioned, Sa Vishvakrit Vishwavidatmana Mayonihi Gna Kala Karo Guni Sarvavid Yaha Pradhana Kshetrajna Patir Gunesha Samsara Moksha Sthiti Bandha Hetu. It is said, in short, it is said, he is the super soul and the master of all transcendental qualities. He is the master of this cosmic manifestation in regard to bondage to the conditioned state of material existence and liberation from the bond. So everything is he. This is what Shweta Shvapanishad is saying. So in this way, further there is an explanation as described in this chapter. The inhabitants of the five islands, beginning with Plakshadvipa, worship the sun god, moon god, fire god, air god, and Brahma respectively. All, I mean, we didn't read about Vayu and Brahmadev. Although they engage in worship of these five demigods, however, they actually worship Lord Vishnu, the super soul of all living entities. As indicated in this verse, Prachnasya Vishnu Rupam. Vishnu is Brahma, Amrita, Mrityu, both. The Supreme Brahman and the origin and everything is He. So in that way, we can understand that okay, one might appear to be worshipping some knowingly or unknowingly. Actually, he is worshipping Lord Vishnu. Anyway, I'll stop here because there is a further explanation about different dvipas, and yeah, you may have already seen they're not elaborate purports explaining, but there are few elements when we are talking about what does it mean by worshipping sun god in the Plakshadvipa and Salmali Dvipa, how is moon god is worshipped is from the description in this verse we can make an educated guess about the nature of the flames on the moon. Like the sun, the moon must also be full of flames because without flames there cannot be illumination. The flames on the moon, however, unlike those on the sun, must be mild and pleasing. This is our conviction. The modern theory that moon is full of dust is not accepted in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. In regard to this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Sushap, Susupshani Sukomala Shikhas Tesham Rochisha. The Kusha grass illuminates all directions, but its flame are very mild and pleasing. This gives some idea of flames existing on the moon. Hmm? So that is in the moon. That's about the moon, and then there is also mention about the fire god. The demigods are servants who assist the supreme personality of Godhead. If one worships the demigods as servants of the supreme carry the sacrificial offerings to the Lord, like tax collectors collecting revenue from the citizens and bringing it to the government's treasury. The demigods cannot accept the sacrificial offerings. They simply carry the offerings to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated by Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasadat. Since the Guru is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he carries to the Lord whatever is offered to them, whatever is offered to him. Similarly, all the demigods, as faithful servants of the Lord, hand over to the Supreme Lord whatever is offered to them in sacrifices. There is no fault in worshipping the demigods with this understanding. But to think that the demigods are independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and equal to him is Kritajnana, a loss of intelligence. Kamais tais tair hritagnyana. One who thinks that the demigods themselves are the actual benefactor is mistaken. Okay, we'll continue. Yeah, remaining tomorrow. Sorry once again for the late, and yeah, we meet again tomorrow. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Dhanraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.